Hey everybody, Chris Fafalius here. If you enjoy One Hit Thunder, which I'm assuming you do considering you're listening to it right now, I want to tell you about another great music podcast on the Evergreen Podcast Network. It's called Riffs on Riffs. On this season of Riffs on Riffs, hosts Toby Braswell and Joe Watson are breaking down one iconic pop song each week. Everything from Taylor Swift's Cruel Summer to Journey's Don't Stop Believin' to Naughty by Nature's OPP. Each week, they crack open the song, trace its history, decode those cryptic lyrics, and unearth the hidden gems in its musical DNA. Not only do they dive into the song's history, lyrics, and impact, they also go down some fun and oftentimes hilarious rabbit holes. So yeah, if you're a fan of One Hit Thunder, I think you'll also enjoy Riffs on Riffs. So go hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your pods. In this week's episode, we embark on a journey through the melodic landscape of Minnie Riperton's unforgettable 1975 hit, Lovin You, where every note carries the essence of her unparalleled vocal mastery. While the song's presence in countless movies, TV shows, and commercials keeps it firmly in the public consciousness, facets of the life of the woman behind it may be surprising. More than a singer, Minnie was a mother, and her heartbreaking departure from this world came way too early. From collaborations with Stevie Wonder to an unforgettable lion attack, we explore Riperton's musical legacy, where every la 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 resonates with timeless allure and poignant significance.
Else can make me feel the colors that you bring. Stay with me while we grow old, and we will live each day in springtime. 'Cause loving you has made my life so beautiful.
One hit is all you need to make the money guaranteed, and you can live off royalties forever.
And it makes me wonder, is it just a wonder, or is it one hit thunder? So Matt, we are here today to talk about Minnie Riperton's Lovin You and the career of Minnie Riperton in general. Were you familiar with this song? I know you don't go deep into the 70s too much. Do you know this song?
Actually, I feel like the part that I think it's the 80s deep cuts are the ones that are the hardest for me. 70s and stuff like that, I usually know because of either just pop culture being unavoidable, or, you know, I have an uncle who's been in a wedding cover band for like 20 years, and there's a lot of... Oh, I don't think they play this, but they play a lot of 70s songs. I'm looking at all the ways that this song was used in different things, and I genuinely think my first introduction to this song... Do you want to guess?
I know it's been used in a lot of commercials. Was it used in maybe like a Burger King commercial at some point?
It probably was, but I know it from an early episode of South Park. Season 1, episode 4. The episode's called Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride. The premise is that there's a big football game between the South Park Elementary and some other school's elementary. And Jimbo and Ned decide that they're going to strap a bomb to the opposing team's mascot, and it will trigger whenever the halftime show singer hits the high F note in the song Lovin You. That was my first introduction to this song, and I mean the iconic note.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I never knew that was called the whistle register. When you go up to that, it's like above falsetto. And of course, we all know that Mariah Carey has made that famous. And Mariah Carey actually cites Minnie Riperton as an influence, as you would expect. But yes, that is what she is most known for. And she so effortlessly goes to those notes. I don't know if you watched live performances of her. I watched her on Midnight Special. I watched her on The Tonight Show. And it's just wild how she can go to that note just on a dime.
Yeah, not an issue whatsoever. One of the things that made me... I love when we're doing One Hit Thunder and it feels like there's just like little pieces of past episodes that fall on top of each other. I'm not sure if you saw this, but before, she was Minnie Riperton, before she was the solo artist that we know and love, she had been in a bunch of different groups. And one of the groups, it said, achieved a cult status in the Northern Soul movement.
Was it the Gems?
The Gems in like the 60s, while they didn't blow up in the States, in the UK during the Northern Soul movement, the Gems were like a group that was very beloved in that scene. So Kevin Rowland may have been rolling to some Mickey Riperton.
Minnie Riperton.
Minnie, I know. As soon as it came out my mouth. Look, Mickey, Minnie, they're both mice.
Mickey. All right. I see how you did it. Oh, it's impressive. I was talking to our past guest and friend Johnny last night. We went out and got dinner. He's like, Matt mispronounces everything. I went, you're telling me. You got too much going on up there.
That's
you have
what
too
it
many
is.
cross references all running into each other at all times between movies and music and TV and everything else you have going on. There's probably like 50 other things going on up there.
I
and it all
hope
gets
the
jumbled.
listeners get that and just don't think that I'm an idiot. Because I would like to say that I'm kind of smart, but like I definitely get frazzled. Anyway, there were so many different elements of Minnie Riperton's kind of tragically short career that blew my mind. This is like one of the more interesting careers I think we've dove into in a while.
Oh, she's awesome. And I don't know, it's very sad. We'll get to the sad stuff. But to start, she was born in 1947, grew up in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood on the south side of Chicago, and she studied music, drama, and dance at Chicago's Abraham Lincoln Center. As Matt mentioned, when she was a teenager, she sang lead vocals for the Chicago-based girl group The Gems, who obviously were popular in the Northern Soul movement. For those of you who don't know, the Northern Soul movement was in the UK, and it was like groups and artists that were only minorly successful in the United States, but people loved them there.
It almost seemed like, from what I understand about that movement, that it was like who could find the most obscure artist and make them popular. Like they were actively not listening to whatever the popular Motown records were.
Sure. That led to her affiliation with the Chicago-based Chess Records, which led to opportunities for her to sing backing vocals for Etta James, Bo Diddley, Chuck Berry, and Muddy Waters. And she also sang lead for the psychedelic soul band Rotary Connection from 1967 to 1971. And everything that Minnie Riperton does leads to another opportunity. And I guess when you have a 5-octave vocal range, you're going to get opportunities.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to replace this person.
Right.
Like it makes you stand out. It gives you something that's like kind of one of a kind. And, you know, when you're kind of the main draw of not one, but two different groups, a solo career seems only eventually around the corner.
Yep.
And that's where we get to Come to My Garden.
Yes. This album, Come to My Garden, which was released in 1970, was produced, arranged, and orchestrated by her Rotary Connection bandmate Charles Stepney. But several of the songs on the album were co-written by Stepney and Richard Rudolph, who she later married in August of 1970. So it seemed like a quick romance there and marriage. And the album ended up not being commercially successful at the time, but in retrospect, it is now acclaimed by music critics. By 1973, you know, 3 years later, she's a homemaker. She had 2 kids. Of course, we have to mention one of those kids, of course, being Maya Rudolph. This is Maya Rudolph's mother.
I feel like somewhere I knew that, and I still was like, oh, no shit, when I was doing the research for this.
I mean, she literally sings Maya's name in the song towards the end of the song. She sings Maya, 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 Maya. And when I was watching the music video for this, one of the top.
I just used to think that was oh my or something like that.
Oh my. And one of the top comments for the YouTube of this was, I know Maya Rudolph's here watching this on bad days or something, you know?
Oh, I mean, probably, definitely. There's no other, I mean, we'll get into why that's so fucking sad to read.
Yeah, we'll get there.
It was a college intern. An intern found her and got her out of retirement, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, for an intern for Epic Records. She'd become a homemaker, and she was a mother of Maya and Maya's brother in Gainesville, Florida. But then...
hanging out with Krista Makes.
Well, maybe a newborn, not even newborn. He may have been a fetus at that point. After this intern heard the demo of the song Seeing You This Way, he took the tape to Dawn Ellis, who is the VP of A&R for Epic, and she signed with Epic, and then the whole family moved to LA. That is where she made the album Perfect Angel, which was co-produced by her husband, Richard Rudolph, and who else?
Stevie Wonder.
But Stevie Wonder.
Now, did you see he had to do a pen name for this album because of his contract with Motown. Wow. However, Stevie Wonder was signed with Motown Records, so to avoid contract conflicts, he's credited under the pseudonym El Toro Negro, which is Spanish for the Black Bull, because Stevie Wonder's astrological sign was Taurus.
Wow. Okay, so is mine. Yeah, so once this album came out that was co-produced by her husband and Stevie Wonder, the sales started slow. They released 3 singles, and Epic was already ready to move on to the next record. But her husband, Richard Rudolph, convinced them to release another single, that being Lovin You. Now, I've listened to all the songs. How was this not the obvious first song to release?
You would think, right? Because this is like the exact same time when like the Carpenters are killing it on the Billboard charts. Like, this is perfect. Like, you weren't going to have a better time period to do this song than right here and there. And it was also a song that, this album comes out in 73. They've been working on it for 2 years. Yeah. Like it had been like a composition they were working on where apparently Minnie came up with the melody and Richard wrote the lyrics and the chords based off the melody. I agree with you, man. It's such an interesting time. I didn't do my normal Billboard charts thing here. This song hit number 1. It wasn't just a hit. It was a number 1 hit. It was a number 1 hit for 1 week. In April 5th, 1975. And when you see what it unseated and what unseated it feels a little bit more impressive because it's so different than these other songs. The week prior, the number 1 song was Lady Marmalade by LaBelle. Okay. So you're thinking like fun disco song kind of. And then the next week after she hit number 1, Elton John, Philadelphia Freedom is what knocked it back down to 2. So it's like I think the easy listening period was starting to slow down and it was getting more into that disco and dance music. So I could maybe see why Epic thought, the time for that type of song has passed. Mm-hmm. But Richard could see it's an undeniable hit that's going to connect with people. And connect with people it most certainly did. It really put her on the chart. Like it put her on the map. People knew who she was suddenly.
Yeah, she was the lady with the high voice and flowers in her hair. This went on to sell 1 million copies. And Perfect Angel, the album, went gold. And Minnie Riperton finally was someone that everyone knew after a long and quick journey. I got to tell you, a lot happened in this lady's life in 7 or 8 years?
7 years of being a musician, really. Yeah. So, we got to talk about the next album, right? Mm. She makes her 3rd album, Adventures in Paradise. Look up the cover, one of the most badass covers in history. And there was an incident shooting promotional footage for that album cover. And you sent me an interview that she did. talking about
back up and tell people what the cover is. So you might want to pull out your phone right now and Google Minnie Riperton Adventures in Paradise. And I think that's the greatest. I don't know. I think it's one of the greatest album covers I've ever seen. It's basically just her sitting in a chair next to a lion. Now, I would have thought that maybe that lion was superimposed in there. But no, That's a real lion sitting next to her. And, oh, Matt, I sent you that video the other day. What's the video called?
So the video is actually going to be hard to find because it's literally just called like Minnie Interview 1979 is the name of it.
Okay.
But yeah, there is an interview where she's on television and she shows the footage of, and she explains this was not the photo shoot for the album cover, that she used a lion for the album cover. And then the record label said, we should film some promotional videos. And she said, I'll only do it if you get the same lion that we had the last time. And they weren't able to and brought in a different lion. And as soon as she sat down next to this lion, it attacks her.
Yeah.
And it's like jaws open at her head type attack.
Yeah, and you can watch it. I mean, was that maybe Johnny Carson?
That was not Johnny Carson. I don't know who that was. Now, on Wikipedia, it says that she also showed this footage on the Sammy Davis Jr. show.
Okay.
Which I would love to find that one because apparently it's her, Sammy Davis Jr., and Richard Pryor watching the footage. And that I have to find that interview clip because I'm sure that their reactions to it are also like unbelievable.
Let me tell you, though, what is also crazy about it is her husband, there's two guys run in to like pull the lion off of her is like instantaneously. One of them being her husband, the other one being the lion, the handler or whatever. But that's love right there. I mean, heat of
I
the
would not
moment,
tackle
man.
a lion for most people, but
heat of the moment, a lion attacking the woman you love. I gotta think I'm gonna run in and pull it off. I would like to think that I would run at the lion, but man, that is some bravery and some love on Richard Rudolph's part.
I want to ask you a punchline related question real quick.
Sure.
If we had done this episode, let's say 8 years ago, right? Before Punchline puts out the album Lion, how hard would you have pushed for the band to try to recreate that album cover for the Lion album cover?
Yeah, I wish I had known about this album cover. I swear to you, I'm not making this up, that I've always wanted to have like an album cover with like, with another cheetah. I thought it'd be so badass if it was like a well put together photo and there is a live cheetah in the photo, like sitting there like a band member and stuff. I've
Even
always
if you
thought
guys did like a Pet Sounds type cover where you're just like feeding goats.
we need some much calmer animals. I think animals on album covers are awesome. I always thought an awesome album cover would be everybody in our band in Punchline, like with all of our pets. I'd be holding two cats. Everybody has pets in the band. I thought that would be such an awesome album cover, but no, I don't think my band agrees with me. What are you gonna do?
I would see that album cover, literally do it like any of the Weezer self-titled albums where it's literally just a backdrop and all of you just standing there holding pets, and I'd be like, I got to check this album out.
Imagine if you somehow if it was like everyone was sitting arranged in a really cool way and all the animals were also sitting, looking straight ahead. How would you, I don't know, I'm trying to think how many dogs and cats are in Punchline now. It's a lot.
At LASIK Plus, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at LASIK Plus, get $1,000 off LASIK when treated in May. That's $500 off per eye, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit mylasicoffer.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in May of 2024 to qualify. $1,000 off standard price of wave light procedure. $500 off for one eye. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to mylasicoffer.com for details.
Ready for a head-bangingly good time? Dive into the world of heavy metal with the Brutally Delicious podcast. Here, we don't just talk music. We welcome you into our heavy metal family. Join us for candid chats with legends and rising stars. We go beyond the typical interviews, exploring raw emotions and the life-altering impact of heavy metal. So whether you're a diehard metalhead or just curious, join our family and let the headbanging begin with the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
Amazing album cover aside, it did not lead to sales, unfortunately, for Minnie Riperton. Partially because the lead single, Inside My Love, many radio stations refused to play for the lyric, "Will you come inside me?"
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about it. These Minnie Riperton songs are sexual. Like,
Yeah.
Lovin You is a very sexual song. It's almost as if when she hits those high notes, that's like, I don't
An
know.
orgasm, yeah.
Orgasms, right? And she
Yeah.
says, there's even things that are like, she says lines where it's like, and when you, ooh, you know, and things, I think she knew what she was doing. They knew what they were doing.
I mean,
here.
literally, the first two lines are, "Loving you is easy because you're beautiful. Making love with you is all I want to do."
Yeah, we're not beating around the bush here. Or maybe we are beating around the bush. It's the 70s.
Quite literally. But I also think that if you needed me to have evidence that a guy wrote this for a girl to sing versus the other way around, I feel like a girl would have come up with a prettier way to say, "Making love with you is all I want to do." Like, that's some dumb guy romance right there.
Well, you know, and only Minnie Riperton could make lyrics like that sound so beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Now we got to get into some sadness.
Boy, do we.
It was a year later, on August 24th of 1976, that Minnie revealed on The Tonight Show that she had undergone a mastectomy due to breast cancer. And at the time of her diagnosis, she found out that her cancer had already spread to her lymphatic system, and she was given about 6 months to live at that point. Keep in mind, she's in her mid-20s at this point.
Mid to late 20s.
20s.
When she eventually passed away in 79, she was 31. So this is all happening mid to late 20s. One positive thing that I can say, though, in 76, while we're sitting here with the sadness of everything, is her friendship with Stevie Wonder continued to the point that she sings on the song Ordinary Pain on Songs in the Key of Life, an album that many consider to be one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
And then Stevie Wonder collaborated on a song with her on her next. So, like, it seems like whatever that producer relationship was turned into a genuine friendship all the way till the end with her.
Yeah, so after she revealed this in 76, I mean, they said she was given 6 months to live, but she did get a good bit more than that. She continued touring in 1977 and 1978. She became the national spokeswoman for the American Cancer Society's 1978-79 campaign. But during the recording of her final album, Minnie, her cancer had progressed to the point where she was in a great deal of pain. And in her final singing appearance on TV, her right arm remained in a fixed position during her performance. You know, near the time where she died at one of her last concerts, she changed the end of Lovin' You. We talked about that Maya, Maya, Maya line. She changed it to Maya, Maya, Ringo, Maya. Ringo was the nickname for her son, Mark. And then she died on July 12th, 1979, in the arms of her husband. And that Sunday, following a funeral service attended by more than 500 mourners, she was put to rest in the Westwood Village Memorial Park Cemetery in L.A., and Stevie Wonder paid tribute to her during an episode of Soul Train. After she died, several artists contributed vocals to tracks she had recorded before her death to help her compile her husband Richard's final tribute to his wife, called Love Lives Forever. Included in there, among others, were Peabo Bryson, Michael Jackson, and Stevie Wonder. And her last single, Give Me Time, was released in 1980. So at only 31 years old, Minnie Riperton passed away. Maya Rudolph being, I believe, 7 or 8 years old at this time.
Like, one of the other bummers, in a weird way, is we talk about like legacy, right? I think that as far as Minnie Riperton being alive was concerned, Loving You was probably just this song that was really popular for a little bit at the start of her career. It's kind of a bummer that when you look at like it as a pop culture icon, it was almost 20 years later that it started showing up everywhere, showing up in movies. It became, sometimes for comedic effect, but it became this thing where in movies, two characters in love would sing this song, or it'd be the cue for two characters in love. It would either be that or it'd be a joke about someone not being able to hit the notes that she could hit. But like, I don't think she ever got to experience the song being the full-blown phenomenon that it is now. At the time, it was just the biggest song that she was able to release at that time.
The song wasn't even that far in her rearview mirror at the time that she died. I mean, it was a hit in 75. She died in 79.
Yeah, it was 4 years ago.
That's a blink of an eye, and she had a lot more music to make. And, when you dive into her catalog, I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome soul, R&B, kind of some AM gold of the 70s. Hey, Matt, a lot of Minnie Riperton songs were sampled in rap songs of the 90s. Tupac, Dr. Dre, A Tribe Called Quest, they all sampled Minnie Riperton at one point or another. There's nothing that you could find or watch about Minnie. I watched a bunch of interviews with her that doesn't make you just love her. You know?
No, she seems incredible. Chris, I have a question, because when I was looking at the ways that this song was used in pop culture, there was one thing that didn't make any sense to me when I read it. So maybe you can give me some more context here. It says, in the early 2000s, Visa used a clip of the song in a TV commercial where the song was played during a Pittsburgh Steelers game. To the dismay of the players and the fans, in the middle of the commercial, it cuts to a scene at a music store where an employee of the stadium sound crew was trying to buy a copy of Who Let the Dogs Out by using a check. What does this mean? This was the most confusing sentence structure I've ever read in my life. Okay. Do you know this commercial at all?
I do not know this commercial, but I can only ascertain from what you told me that the idea of the commercial was they wanted to get the crowd fired up, but then maybe accidentally or instead played a song that would not get a football team and crowd fired up.
Lovin You. Got it. Okay. He was trying to buy Who Let the Dogs Out, and he only had a check. So he had to...
What's so funny about that is Who Let the Dogs Out gonna get the Steelers crowd fired up? I mean, famously, if they knew what they were doing, they would have had the guy buying a copy of Styx Renegade to play at the Steelers game, because that is what they play at the Steelers game to get the crowd fired up.
I just pulled up the commercial.
Let's sound it out for your Pittsburgh Steelers!
I do remember this commercial.
I don't care what stadium you work for, all right? If you want to write a check for Who Let the Dogs Out, I'm still going to need to see some ID.
Hey, I gotta show you this, Chris. Hold on a second.
It'll get you in, out, and on with life.
Backing this up for a second. Tell me if you can figure out who's playing the guy working at the record store.
Oh,
I think that's a young Charlie Day.
That is Charlie Day. Yeah. Wow. Just worlds colliding all over the place. So we got a young Charlie Day in this commercial too. Okay. So as far as Minnie Riperton goes, the song lives on. I would assume that all of our listeners listening know this song. I do have a game for you today, Matt.
All right, let's do it.
We'll play a little game to raise our spirits a little bit here.
Yeah, because we left on a sad note. We need a happy ending.
We'll play a game.
All right. Yeah, let's get our spirits high. Let's go.
Play along at home. Let's go. The day before Lovin You went to number 1, this company was founded as a partnership between two guys named Bill and Paul to develop and sell basic interpreters for the Altair 8800.
I don't even know what half of those things were. I'm just going to say BlackBerry. I don't know.
That would be Microsoft. That would
Oh.
be Bill Gates
Bill
and Paul
Gates.
Allen.
I was sitting here being like, he's probably going to be talking about Apple, so I was waiting to hear the word Steve, and I didn't, and then I just gave up immediately. I should have went with Microsoft.
Yep,
What a dummy. All right, off to a bad start.
Yeah, Microsoft started the day before Lovin You was the number one song.
That's crazy. All right.
Okay.
Are these all things tied to May of 1976?
All things tied to this song in one way or another.
Okay. Got it.
And you're not getting any multiple choices.
All right. Perfect.
Here's another one. This should be an easy one. Who is Maya Rudolph married to?
Oh, my God. I
Do you
don't
not
remember.
know this?
I genuinely don't remember. Was it Fred Armisen?
No.
I don't know who.
It'd be P.T. Anderson. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh, duh. That's right. She is married to PTA.
Yep. Dang.
I'm a dummy. Man, this is not good. This is off to a terrible start. How many questions are there?
There's 4 more.
All right. I think I'm going to get 1.
I thought you were going to get all 6, but apparently I was wrong. Okay. A few weeks later, on April 30th of 1975, this ended.
A few weeks later, 1975.
April 30th of 1975, this ended.
This ended. What the fuck does that mean? I feel like this is something super obvious.
Less than a month after Lovin' You was the number one song.
I know. Listen, that's fine. I'm assuming it's like a TV show that ended or something.
Maybe we can. Maybe we could even say that this song. No, this song had nothing to do with this ending.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like this has nothing to do with anything.
This absolutely has nothing to do with this ending.
Well, it's not MASH because that was into the 80s. So what's another giant ending?
Oh, this is the biggest ending of the 70s. Believe me.
Was it Roots? The end of Roots?
No.
Oh.
That would be the Vietnam War.
Oh, yeah, that would be important too.
The biggest ending of the 70s. Yes, North Vietnamese troops captured Saigon on April 30th of 1975, thus ending the Vietnam War. You're 0 for 3, Matt.
Boy, this is the worst. This is the worst performance I think I've ever given on this show.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't record this early.
Come on, you got to get these last 3.
Boy, do I. All right, let's go.
3 days before Lovin' You went to number 1. So this would be April 2nd of 1975. This Chilean-American actor, known for Game of Thrones, Narcos, and The Mandalorian, was born in Santiago, Chile.
Pedro Pascal?
You got it.
Okay.
Yeah, finally got one. Okay. Here's a good one. On the day that Lovin' You went to number 1, this rapper, songwriter, and record producer who is a founding member of 3 6 Mafia was born in Memphis, Tennessee.
Fuck, I don't know who's in 3 6 Mafia. I'm just going to go with a random guess of a rapper who I think may have been associated with 3 6 Mafia. Is it Too Short?
No, it is Juicy J.
Wouldn't have gotten there. All right.
I thought you knew about all the 90s rap 3 6 Mafia.
No.
Well, okay. One more, and you better get this one.
Well, dude, let's see. My standing is that I was correct with my 1 prediction so far.
On the day after Lovin' You went to number 1, this actor, known for playing a doctor on TV, was born in South Orange, New Jersey.
Oh, this was Zach Braff.
Yep, you got it. He was born.
My boy Zach Braff.
Yeah, you got 2. You got 2 there.
I had a feeling the second you said doctor in 75, 75, I was like, oh, Zach Braff was born in 1975.
You know way too much about Zach Braff.
then you said New Jersey, and that sealed the deal for me.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Matt, do we even have to ask?
No, this is Thunder. This is a certified Thunder. You know, we don't know how to get that certification to you, but we love you, Minnie. So,
yeah. Yes, Minnie Riperton, rest in peace. Rest in peace knowing that you are certified Thunder by the One Hit Thunder podcast. Go dig into her catalog. You will enjoy it. It will make your day, especially a beautiful spring day.
I'm waiting for you to say, I know you better than you think. But did I plan for this to happen? I claimed I could hold you closer than know you better
has been One Hit Thunder. One Hit Thunder is hosted by Chris Fafalius of the band Punchline and produced by Matt Kelly of Geekscape.net. Underneath me, you're hearing Power Off from the Punchline Rewind EP. Visit punchlinemusic.com for any upcoming news on the band. Our podcast is on Patreon now. Find us at patreon.com/OHT podcast for early access to episodes, bonus conversations, and a chance to vote on future songs for us to cover. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on any podcasting app, and tune in next week for more One Hit Thunder.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Ready for a head-bangingly good time? Dive into the world of heavy metal with the Brutally Delicious podcast. Here, we don't just talk music. We welcome you into our heavy metal family. Join us for candid chats with legends and rising stars. We go beyond the typical interviews, exploring raw emotions and the life-altering impact of heavy metal. So whether you're a diehard metalhead or just curious, join our family and let the headbanging begin with the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Hello, Tom May here, host of Future Friday. I've spent the last 15 years on the road with my band, The Menzingers, where I've met all kinds of wild and fascinating people. So I started a podcast. On Future Friday, I talk to fellow musicians about the moments that made them, their passions outside of music, and the curiosities that tie us all together. I've also talked to the likes of UFO researchers, magicians, soldiers, and documentary filmmakers, and I'm constantly searching for folks that can shape and change our view of the world. You can check out Future Friday wherever you like.